Oh boy. I left this on the floor. I apologize. Hello? Can anyone hear me? Mine now. Hey, Sabilbo!
It's me. Hi.
You're here.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to share blankies with me?
Is it okay?
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Hug. Hello to you too, Dig. Oh, can you hand me my cord for this?
Computer cord?
Yeah. Ugh. Welcome to the Relaxation Station, day 16. I am your host for today. Me, Joe. It is I. And Dig too. Taking a break from his schoolwork to come by.
Mm-hmm.
They also say hello to you too, Lubo, because they hear you.
Hello, I'm just feeding Badger, Cobra Commander, and the other Tetras. They're getting so big.
Good.
Cobra Commander's almost 1.5 inches long now.
Nice. Beep, 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 beep. I beeped his fingy. Oh, I should probably close out a Discord so I don't run up my CPU. But while I'm closing Discord, we can review the rules for today. As you know, no self-deprecation. That's not nice. No spamming. Keep emoji use to a minimum. Keep politics and talk of quarantine to a minimum. We're here to relax. No requests unless asked, because this is a scheduled program. And mods have the right to kick and or ban anybody for any reason. Cool. So, oh goodness, this is gonna be an interesting day. On the grounds, I haven't planned anything other than Pokemon Red, cause I just couldn't think of anything. And Tomodachi Life still doesn't work on my computer. It keeps crashing the entire thing, so we're just putting off Tomodachi Life for the time being until that gets fixed, for whatever reason that may be happening. Also, would you like to play?
Yes, please.
Cool. Okay. So, now we get to decide what to do. I can't do anything internet browser based because the OBS doesn't like that for whatever reason. Oh, my headphones are under the blanket. There they are. So, I know I said no requests, but I'm actually going to open the floor. What do you guys want to do for this first hour or so? And don't say, oh, I'm down for whatever. That just means your vote doesn't count.
Ooh.
Hey, man, neutral means nothing in this.
That's fair. I vote Jackbox.
You don't even play Jackbox.
Yeah, but I know you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's funny, because you like it.
Hi, Booby.
Hi, Booby.
What do you think?
Like the only thing I can think of... Oh, Stardew Valley's also a thing. But, I was going to say the only thing I can think of is Jackbox or... I mean, Q&As are always a thing that can occur.
So I guess that just leaves it with that, because Q&A / improv whatever, because you know we can get all rowdy with them fucking voices. Haha. Especially after yesterday. Ha ha ha. Pat.
One of these days, I'm gonna make good on the, on the idea that I threw out back when you guys were still just like brainstorming what are even things to do for these big, long, multi-segment streams. And one of these days, I'm gonna do a segment that's just me getting into one of my cosplays.
Oh yeah.
Like, maybe sometime I'll do a stream that's just like, hey, watch me figure out how to fucking become Shigaraki.
Become the Krusty. Well, they'd watch that. That's a sound of my water bottle.
Like,
They'd be down for cosplay with Dick sometime.
Hey.
So whenever you want. Doesn't have to be. Of course not today. But let's see.
Yeah, unless you guys also want to see me shave.
We're all grody today. Please no. I'll miss your beard.
It grows back.
Yeah. Your little goatee is just so sweet.
Oh, baby. I mean, the longer I leave it alone, the more it just becomes the neck beard it always threatens to be. Because my facial hair refuses to grow above the, like, midpoint of my chin.
Crunch.
huh, I actually have my school colors.
Neat.
Cool.
Dig, you can't become neckbeard. That's a sin. You forget, though, I am his waifu. So, neckbeard achieved.
I've never seen him like seriously tip a fedora at somebody though.
I tipped a Todd hat at people at school before.
Yeah, but that's different.
That's different.
Does that mean, Kyo, you're Kurogiri? Yes, I'm actually planning on cosplaying Kurogiri to go with his Shigaraki.
Yes. Like, having you be Kurogiri would be awesome, especially because it gives you another chance to have fun with full head masks. Like, I would still be down also for exploring the possibility of you being Redestro.
Oh yeah, I would do the prosthetic nose for you.
Just so you can be my sugar daddy.
Yeah, and I just have great excuses to look at your ass. And be like, yes. Communism.
What?
What?
I don't know, he has a manifesto. I'm like, okay, what is this thing?
Anything can have a manifesto.
Well, he wants everyone to be, well, not equal, but like, power to the people. I don't know.
My manifesto is eat 2 meals a day.
He has some kind of ideology to manifesto. I forget what it's fucking called. Revolution!
He does, but there are lots of ideologies. Man, that reminds me. You know what used to be a thing, and I wish was still a thing, but it's not a thing anymore?
What?
Ship manifestos.
Oh?
Like, were you never into that scene?
No.
Of, like, there was a whole live journal, and, like, some people also wrote them independently, hosting ship manifestos, where a person would, like, take a single ship and basically write a full-out manifesto for, like, why it works, what its points of appeal are, what its, like, canon elements are, what its, like, fanon elements are, and where those come from. Just, like, basically breaking down why this ship exists and deserves to exist.
Huh.
That was a huge, huge thing. Well, I don't know if it was huge, but it was a big part of my life, and I loved reading ship manifestos, even for, like, things I didn't ship, just because it was interesting, because people would, like, go into why the ship works.
You know, now that you mention it, I do remember something very similar in the early days of the Hitalia fan.
Exactly.
Like, back on LJ, like you mentioned. It's just, It'd been so long, I forgot about them.
Yeah, no, I wish people still published ship manifestos because they can be really, really interesting.
Neat. That's rad.
That's rad.
That's rad. Oh no,
We don't get as academic with our ships as we used to, and I mean we as in, like, I mean we in the largest sense. Because, like, man, remember when, like, so basically an analysis of a ship? Yeah, pretty much.
I think it might have. I feel like you find those on Tumblr, but it gets so venomous and nasty that it's not really in that wholesome academic sense anymore.
Yeah, that's what we've lost. Because, like, the ship manifestos, none of them were attacking other ships.
I got
or
an
at least
idea.
they usually didn't. Sometimes you would because people have always been like that.
It's fun to talk, so maybe I can work on some sprite work while we can all talk until we get to 11.
That's a good idea.
Cause I need to thin out that jail cell.
We can be old fools together and reminisce. Like, oh,
Just
man.
free talk, Q&A if need.
Remember that thing that people used to do
When that thing when it was a thing.
when it was a thing, and like you couldn't get people wouldn't dox you if you shipped the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, back in those LJ days though,
Sniff.
shit was good. There was this, I don't know, I don't want to call it a more tight-knit community because you still have that on like Facebook and, you know, Instagram and stuff like that, but you were in smaller number, you saw all the same people every single day. It was enough to give people nicknames, and I don't know, it kind of makes me think of like the Gaia days.
That's interesting, because I was never, like, that was never my use of LiveJournal. For me, the value of LiveJournal came more from the fact that it was the most highly organized parts of a fandom doing the fan-ish labor that required the most organization, and that's the thing that always brought me back to LiveJournal.
LiveJournal was actually the way I got into Lolita in the first place. It was the first community I ever found, and it taught me all the basics. And when it went down, because LJ's kind of a ghost town now, it, like, we lost so much information in the process. Like, our alphabetized list of Milano clones, and all the websites that would scam you and or were knockoff or replica havens, stuff like that. And it wasn't just the fandoms that lost something when we transitioned out of LJ. God, the Italia fandom too. Way back in the day, before the I'm literally rocking in my rocking chair as I'm reminiscing about this. Way back in the day when it was tiny, when the manga hadn't been translated yet, and we were still just doing like fan subs and stuff like that. Before the anime was a thing, we would just have to like translate them by looking up and down. Someone would write down everything, and we'd have to paste them into the raws mentally because no one actually went through and made scanlations at the time. And we then would have this long discussion about back and forth with everybody. There weren't really ship wars back then either. It was just everyone just kind of accepted it. Oh hey, there's like 30 billion ships here because there's 100 characters. Or how many were there?
But, like, again, like, there was some venom because humans be like that, but it wasn't at the same scale it is today.
Oh yeah, not even close. I think this was well before Holland was introduced. So
Yeah, you are going back before my entry into.
Oh. Oops.
Well before his time.
Oh God. So, when did you make your break? So, let's go a little bit, let's go somewhere else. Fanfiction.net. When did you discover it, and how did you discover it?
I was a youngin'.
I don't remember how I discovered it. That's the tough part, is I have no idea how I became aware of fanfiction as a concept or of fanfiction.net. But I know I was in middle school.
Okay. That was about
Wait.
the time I found it too.
Or, yeah, it would have been early middle school. Yeah, I think. Not sure.
I only knew Media Miner for the longest time.
What?
Media Miner.
What's Media Miner?
It's a fanfic.net clone.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it was. It sucked. It sucked because it had a lot of. It banned self-insert fanfics. That's why I have so much venom towards it.
Woo.
Because that's, for a good chunk of my life, well, not chunk of my life, but for a good while, that's what I mostly wrote. And my favorite fanfics were self-insert because they were really well written despite being self-inserts. And I was like, hell yeah. But then they started banning all of them. So when I see people making self-insert, I'm like, that's against the rules. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, wait, no, it's not banned here.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. And then the funny thing was, I wrote self-insert fanfics. They were really well liked. And then the ban happened. And I'm like, oh, but what am I going to do with these great fics? And my sister was like, you could just throw in a random character name and just do it from there. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And then everyone's like, oh, this is such Mary Sue. This is garbage. And I'm like, you liked it when you thought it was you. Honestly, I think I might just keep this cage as it is. The more I'm thinning it, the more it looks weird. Mm-hmm. You can see them enough. It's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pat you.
Pat. Oh, but yeah,
I like talking.
The only sort of time post marker I can remember about when I first started regularly visiting fanfiction.net is that Invader Zim didn't even yet have 5,000 fanfics.
Oh.
Because I remember when it first hit the 5,000 mark, and I was like, oh man, we're getting there. We're getting there, guys.
God.
Clunk, clink.
I went somewhere there for a few seconds. I remember posting, god awful. Me and my friend Megan just going with that train as it hit the airwaves, and Johnny the Homicidal Maniac started climbing, and Noodle Boy became a thing, and it's just I was in middle school too, and I found it via the Inuyasha train. I got linked off of Neopets.
Okay.
That kind of dates me there.
Well, hey, I was in Neopets too.
Let's give a pause for a second. What should I draw? Art stream time now. Go.
Draw Germany.
Germany.
Draw German boy. And there was this Inuyasha fan work that, and it's I don't want to say fan artist, fan author? Yeah. Who just, all they wrote was Inuyasha, and it was all based on various kinds of fairy tales. And they were very good. Their Swan Lake one was incredible. And then it all just dried up, and I stopped reading fan fiction. That's just the way it is. Sometimes you just lose the... Oh, shit. Lord, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. I keep bothering.
That's the thing is, these days, it feels like the most like, my instinct is to say the most critically praised fanfic, but I mean the stuff that tends to be most admired from a literary perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if, like, when people talk about, like, literarily admirable fanfiction, they point you towards Archive of Our Own.
Yeah.
But, like, before AO3 was big and hot, like, a lot of very, very strong authors only posted their work on fanfiction.net. Like, there was this Pinky and the Brain fan author who just, like, well, it was two people who often worked together, but also wrote separately sometimes. Like, they were just fantastic in character. Like, they did, like, a, like, they did a version of Titanic that was basically written in the style of, like, you know, how a lot of Pinky and the Brain episodes are basically take some other work of fiction and Pinky and the Brain are there.
Yeah.
And so they did that for Titanic, and that was just intense in every way. Because it's like, it wasn't comedy. It was the Titanic.
Whoa!
And
I wouldn't think that was possible.
No, they did it, and it was amazing. And also they, like, leaned hard into the, like, Pinky and the Brain ship, because that was, like, their big ship.
Oh,
but
okay.
Anyway, it was, like, their work is phenomenal. Like, their work was how I actually, like, started reading Pinky and the Brain fan fiction, just because it was, you know, that sort of gateway drug of, like, oh, there are people out there who are doing this extremely well.
There are some seminal works that seem to define, like, fan fiction for certain fandoms, and it sounds like they were the ones who defined theirs.
Yeah.
Like Gutters, or Elfida saying Sweetheart for the Hitalia fandom, the Swan Lake one for the Inuyasha fandom. There was one, I forget what it was called. It was in the Invader Zim fandom, but it was this massive intergalactic spanning, like, trip. It was 26 chapters long, and of course it ended right before Dib actually went to Urk.
Mm-hmm.
But it followed what the original timeline was going to do with the episodes, and everything was perfect. Everything was in character, and it was shockingly well written. It felt like actual episodes.
Oh yeah.
And I just wish I read more fan fiction now, because now I can actually appreciate those things and how well these things are written in a way that allows me to analyze them.
Mm-hmm. Like, why don't you read more fan fiction these days?
I just forget.
Ah.
Because I've got so many other things to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the cosplay, Animal Crossing, work,
Oh
keeping
yeah.
the house up. And as well as writing effectively.
Oh yeah.
fanfiction.
That's true. You've got to be writing stuff.
Constantly writing. Between me and Kyo, we just produce. And between you and Kyo, produce.
Well,
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, we don't produce at the same volume we used to. Like, I've never been able to stop reading fanfic. Even when I get busy, I always find some time for...
wake up at 5 a.m, time to read End Hawks.
Well, that's just
Jesus.
because, you know, sometimes you wake up at 5 a.m. and you can't go back to sleep. And I'm like, well, I've just been, like, doing that lately, so let's find another one to start reading.
Everyone's just been getting up early.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning now, naturally. You're getting up at 5. Kyo's up at 7.
Like, my waking up times are pretty varied these days, but they tend to usually be, like, between 8 and 9, naturally.
A good one. A good whole set. Gakuen! I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the glasses, got the vest.
Well, given it's Germany, that could just be a day at work.
I don't know, it looks like a sweater vest.
Yeah, it is.
Jeremy's super cute in glasses.
He fucking is.
He's precious.
Because he's got that square jaw that just complements a nice square set of glasses really well. And it's why my first cosplay was Austria, because I similarly have a very square German jaw, and so the square glasses just emphasized it even more.
French cheeks and square German jaw. That's becoming more and more pronounced the longer you stay on T.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fascinating watching your face change over the years.
And meanwhile, I'm living with it every day, so I don't really notice.
Like, I'm sure there's a couple of pictures. I'm sure Kyo has pictures from, like, well before your transition.
Yeah.
So you can just see and compare the difference, because it's a big difference now. Sometimes you need to have that perspective of, oh shit, wow. It's the same as weight loss in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you constantly see, like, I haven't really changed. What are you talking about? And then you look at an old picture of yourself and you look in the mirror and you go, fuck! Holy shit, where did I go?
But, yeah, chat, let's just leave it at Auf Wiedersehen gets real sad, so don't read it unless you're ready for some big sad.
It has some sad. Apparently that author is just competent sad generator.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those seminal classics that everyone in the Hitalia fandom that has ever touched fanfiction in their entire lives knows about. I never read it. I'm not here. I can't handle that sad right now.
Mm-hmm.
Know your limits, guys.
Yes.
The last piece of fanfiction I ever read was 50 Shades of Grey.
Ha.
You say that, but it's literally fanfiction.
Oh, it is. It's just funny because it's just like, remembering sometimes.
Yeah. But she did the Twilight fandom dirty.
Yes.
There.
You know that whole story back there?
Oh, of course. Like, I mean, just recently I was rewatching Lindsay Ellis's video, I'm Sorry, Stephanie Meyer.
I haven't actually seen that.
You should. She goes into the whole thing very well and sort of points out how, like, honestly, like Stephanie Meyer took the highest road possible in that whole situation. Because, like, otherwise, we could have been in another Anne Rice situation where we're talking about the legality of fan fiction as a whole. But no, instead, overall, her attitude was just like, you know what? I'm glad she's finding success, and sure, it was inspired by my thing, but that's its own thing. Twilight is still Twilight, and it's fine. It's fine.
Mad respect.
Mad respect.
Honestly, because a lot of you guys are a little young for this, but back in the day, Anne Rice used to actually send cease and desist orders to people who wrote fan fiction for her work. And people would be afraid to post their own fan fiction over it. Damn it.
Which is why they're like, hey, I don't own this. That's where that trait comes from of, like, having to say, first and foremost, we don't own this property. This is a fan work.
Because back in the day, people would literally get sued over it. Because some authors are really, really touchy about their work. And I get it. Like, it's your baby. You put a ton of work into it. But at the same time, it's fan work. And a lot of these people were writing novels set in the universe. Not with her character specifically. And she still sent them cease and desist letters.
Yeah, like, it's things like that that make me appreciate stuff like how the, anime and manga industry, like, fully embraces the existence of doujin works as, like, basically part of advertising.
Yeah.
That in allowing people to produce fan works, that spreads knowledge and appreciation of the original work, especially since the fan works typically do things that the original work can't or won't do.
That's right.
So it's like, it's literally doing nothing but helping the original work.
That's the same thing that LPs do, really. And as such, like, when the legality of Let's Plays is called into question, I'm sitting here going, it's free advertising, guys! What's the problem with you? If you're confident in your game, don't DMCA everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. Squid.
Squid.
Bib.
Hi, Bib.
Hi. Like, yeah, the manga and anime industry has its issues, like every industry does, but, like, the way they handle Dojin and fan works in general, that is something that is just like, yes, got it right.
Yes. A rock.
Oh no, the children.
They scream. They scream. Well, you know what time it is. Closing the window blinds.
Because children make us anxious.
Especially these children.
No, the type to climb high trees and bother dogs.
Yep. Bother dogs, taunt them, climb really, really tall trees, and fall,
And scream.
and constantly scream, and chase cats.
And chase cats. And you hear their parents yelling at them constantly.
Gives us anxiety. I now understand why my mother said, "You spoiled me." Because she never really had to do that with me.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have to wrangle me. I wasn't running around in restaurants screaming my head off. I wasn't running outside disturbing the neighbors. I was a good kid for the most part that kept to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Introvert child. Man, I just got to stay inside for most of the time.
Yep.
I didn't run off. I didn't do stupid things. I never, I didn't sell drugs or buy anything or drink illegally when I was a teenager. And then and then I move out and she sees all these terribly behaved kids out in the world. It's like, oh, that's what you mean. Yes, fish, I'm trying.
Like, I'm trying to think, what was the first thing I ever read fan fiction for? Because, like, I can't remember whether Invader Zim was the first thing that got me into fan fiction, or whether it was just the first significant thing. Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Oarfish.
Good job.
Did you ever read the Neopedia Chronicle?
No, I didn't.
That had fan fiction in it. I used to actually write consistent fan works for it and submit it.
Hmm.
It was the only way I've ever been published. But that was my very first introduction, was reading other people's pirate epics with the fairies and various characters on Neopets.
Mm-hmm. Now that I think about it, probably, I don't know if this is for certain, but probably the way I was introduced to the concept of fan fiction was through forums. I don't,
Oh man!
I don't think it was the Neopets forum specifically that got me into it,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that, the Nicktoons forums, back in the day, there was even a, thread on the official, Nicktoons forums under Invader Zim, Zimzodes, which was literally a thread for people to post their fanfic.
Oh man. Was that where, you could find all those, really early Flash games?
Probably.
Because there was this long, quiz for Rugrats, Rugrats
Something.
history and lore. That's it. And you had to basically fill in the family tree. And I think that was the same website. I didn't know you could post your own fan fiction, and that's fucking wild.
In the forums, yeah.
Ooh. Did you ever go on the Neopets forums? Because there was some wild stuff over in there, like, forum postings.
Oh man,
Like-
that's where I started my RP scene.
Yeah, like, I went there, but I never really, like, dug in much.
MSN forums is where I started my RP scene.
I was never part of that. My parents were too paranoid. Neopets was the only way I could do it, and I was part of a Dragon Riders of Perm forum RP.
Wow.
There was some wackadoo shit happening there.
There, I drew Japan.
Man, now I'm feeling nostalgic for, like, the days when I was a regular on the court records forums. It was an Ace Attorney forum.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? Wait a second. Excuse me? I mean, people write real life fan fiction all the time, but that's pretty dark.
No, like, there, like, was/still is a fantastic archiving site for Ace Attorney stuff called Court Records. And they had a really neat, like, very well organized forum system.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there were some great folks there. Like, I remember, you know, one time like, sprite editor was, like, doing free, like, what are those things that you, like, put in the bottom of your forum post and they're, like, there on every post you made?
Oh, banners.
Signatures.
Yeah, signature banner things. Like, someone was, like, offering up free ones, and I requested this thing with, like, Kristoff and, like, a Fan of the Opera quote, and they did it so good.
Nice.
They, like, went for it. Looking back, I'm like, God, that's way to be, like, edgy and artsy, child. But, like, this person did right by me.
They knew what you needed.
They knew what I needed. And, like, this super sweet person, who, like, one time I made a post back when I was thinking about cosplaying Apollo Justice, being like, hey, how do you do his bracelet? And someone someone came in and just was like, oh, hey, like, I've cosplayed Apollo before. Here, like, have this entire tutorial I wrote up for making.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, just, like, there were some really great folks.
When are we getting another game?
Ah, God, I wish.
To be fair, we need to start playing the other ones that keep being released.
We do. We're still not caught up on actually playing. But we need to, especially just because, like, I've been thinking about all them good law friends.
They are good law friends.
And just how wonderful they are.
You want to know something?
Ah.
You're gonna laugh.
Yes.
But in talking about them old days, I'm having a remembrance think of one of my first RP experiences in the MSN MSN forums. Of usually I did Fruits Basket. That was my thing. But I only saw like a little bit of Fruits Basket, so I made like super edgy Yuki. So, because I didn't know the rest of the series, I didn't know the rest of his personality, and so on. But it was still fun. But then I started to make my first OCs and shit, and there was a point in my life when it came to RP, because I was in the chat rooms. That shit is when you learn how to type quick.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would intentionally make really bad OCs to piss people off.
What?
Why?
Because it was really funny to see them squirm.
Ah.
So you were, Adobe Darkness Dementia Raven weighing.
Sort of. More of the moe woobiest thing you could ever think of, who faints at the sight of any prick of blood. Yes. You might think, oh, you're just bad character. No, I did that intentionally just to piss you off. And this is when I was 7.
You were 7?
You were 7!
Yes. I RP'd around 7 to 8.
Oh my god.
I wasn't even introduced to that till I was like 12.
I mean, I was like... Yeah, I would have been roughly 12 as well.
And I have a memory of my first, like, legit attempt at RPing OC being a fucking Princess Mononoke inspired thing. Being, like, based off a San, but instead of wolves, she had a panther. That one was great, though. I actually got to have I got to befriend a Merrick, and I got to befriend a Vasha Stampede with that OC, and it was great. And we all just had a good time until Merrick wigged out and started doing Shadow Realm shit. But we beat him in the end, and that's what matters.
That's honestly one of the reasons why I keep going back to conventions. Is because it's that, but in real life. If you can get someone who will engage you on that level and just stay in character and get up to some wackadoo cross-fandom shit, that's the best. It makes memories that just, they won't fade. They're wonderful. Like, when Miraculous Ladybug was still a thing. Hot thing.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, hot off the press. There was, this Joker and Harley who were going around the con. This is like Batman the Animated Series specific
Yeah.
one. Going around the convention, and they were just adopting all the ladybugs that they could find. And I remember sitting there eating, and there goes fucking Joker with a ladybug on his shoulders giving him a piggyback ride as Harley Quinn chases after them, howling and swinging her hammer. I was like, holy shit! I will never forget that so long as I live.
I remember at my very, very, very first con, it was, Lord, I was 15, 16, I think, at the time. No, I was, let's see, 15. I was 15 at my first con. No, 14. Yes, because it was before my birthday. I was a really, really, really shitty Yami Merrick cosplay. Straight up. Really bad. Did not know how to wig. Did not know how to, jewelry. Did not know how to anything. I was proud of the fact that I learned how to put a dog leash on my coat and hide the rest of it so I could get that chain on the coat looking, thing. And I befriended a Yama Yugi who also didn't really do much of the wigs or much of anything, but like, closet cosplay. And we, befriended each other. We're like, yeah. And we went around and we had adventures and like befriended a Sailor Jupiter of like, Yama Yugi was like, yes, I will be able to save the world. Oh, hey Jupiter, what's up? And it was like, oh, hey, you're looking cute. Who's this? And it's like, of course Yama Yugi would befriend a fucking Scalar Scout. Also, I stole his puzzle. I'm like, hey, Yami, what? Game over. Yeah, I don't care. You can keep it. Wait, what? Really? No, give it back. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby, lean against you.
Thank you. It was fun. And people still took my picture. Like, I had more pictures taken at that con than I did for the next 3 to 5 years at normal cons. Which was a pretty good experience. I remember my mom got so pissed because I refused to buy anything for myself at that con. Because I kept buying other people gifts. She's like, get something for yourself. I'm like, I don't want anything, though.
My dad did that too. I told him I was going to a convention, and he's like, "Hey, have some extra money. Happy birthday, early, here, wham!" Sent me $100. What did I do with it? Spend it paying for other people's food and gifts. And he was so pissed. Kyle was too, now that I think about it. He's like, Lubo, why do you go to conventions? To enjoy myself? Yes. Did you eat? Did you pay for any of that food for yourself? Oh my god. That was the first couple of years I went to con. I had to learn how to buy things for myself.
Yeah. I only recently learned... The moment I started buying for myself was really weird. And then came the one con I didn't go with Dig, and then my financial instability went off the fucking rails. I learned a new fashion that day, but Lord, was my wallet a burning hole. But
you
it was
learned something about yourself, though.
Yeah.
I'd say it was
Being
still...
so frugal for years, it was really weird to spend for myself. Because I was always growing up with the, do you really need it? What will you do with it in a couple years? Will it just sit there collecting dust, or will it have a use? No? Then you don't need it.
I get that.
Hey, baby.
Hi, boop boop.
Just laying.
Yeah.
One more ticket and then whoop. You heading home?
Nah, I think she's just looking.
One more island and then it's your turn, my dude.
Oh, okay. Mwah.
I don't know what I did with this. I just went for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Cha-Cha.
Yeah, it's him. It's the boy.
It's the boy.
It's my fluffy boy.
That's that fluffy boy.
That's a fluffy ass boy.
You ever look back at your own OCs and go, God, you were awesome. How come no one else liked you?
God, yeah. A shit ton. And it's like, wow, you're great. You have so much potential. Why don't I do anything with you?
Sometimes, like, the fandom is just past that point where you can use them.
Well, that's the thing. Most of my OCs are original based. I don't really base them off of a series.
Oh.
Specifically so I can insert them in any series I want. He's seen a lot of AUs in his time. He's been in Hetalia, he's been in Death Note, he's been... Oh god, what else? He's been in Pokemon. He's been in just OC AUs. He's a good boy. Same with Sinette. Sinette's been around for the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh days. I'm gonna draw him too.
Like I've never really been the OC making type. So I can't really relate.
Yeah, I mean, the only OCs you got is for your pretend musicals.
What?
You know, when you pretend to make musicals or operas or stuff like that, you make OC sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Like original OCs. Like,
yeah,
unrelated to fandoms.
That's what OCs are. Original characters.
Well, yes, but...
I never put...
I know, and that's what you were saying, but, like, I didn't even do it at the same volume as you've done it.
Yeah. Then again, when you're left alone on your own devices growing up, you don't really have much else to do with yourself. Except
know.
right
I just
and right and right and
I
right.
just dove into the canon stuff. That's what I did when I was left alone.
Some kids just react differently to stuff. Like, God knows how many sled dog races I had when I was left to my own devices, using my Beanie Babies.
Yeah. I always put on plays.
And boxing matches. Karate tournaments, boxing matches.
Here.
Sled dog races. Power Rangers stuff. Just all kinds of shit.
Hello.
Hi.
What you're a car. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Like, yeah, like, that, and, like, another area where I can't really relate is I was never really into the self-insert scene. That was just never for me. For me, the whole point of fiction was to not think about myself.
Ooh. Ooh. That's some... There's a lot to unpack there.
But I mean, honestly, that was my entire childhood. That's one of my greatest skills, is being able to just retreat into head.
Yeah.
Which leads to, well, that and it probably doesn't help that I, was raised by an English teacher and thus was, like, taught, like, literary analytical skill from a very young age, so I never felt like... So, yeah, when introduced to a work of fiction, my interest was always the work itself.
You never felt any desire to, like, be part of that world?
Well, I did, but I didn't write it. Like, I mean, when I was very, very young, I would, like, play, like, Pokemon pretend games with friends and stuff, but that was a very, very young age.
I was doing that until I was like 12. Because it was easier to be anyone but myself. Versus, like, if kind of bouncing off of what you said, it means I don't have to think about myself. In my case, it's like I can be anyone but myself.
Meanwhile, I wanted to be around just so I can have an excuse for other characters to show interest in me.
Which that really just shows a fundamental, like, difference between, like, how you and I responded to, like, our social situations.
Loneliness, self-loathing, and
I thought I was forgetting something. It's this fucking scarf.
Ah.
I was like, it looks way too bare up there. Right, he always wears this fucking scarf.
distancing? Social distancing?
Like, I don't know, but anyway, like, yeah, like, self-insert stuff was just never my thing.
Sorry, fish. That's okay.
Ooh. Maple.
Another one.
It's like the fucking bamboo wand. This is like the 5th one the game is trying to force down my throat. It's like, bruh. Stop it! I learned it out of spite.
You know, this OC I'm sketching right now, he is my oldest. One of my first that I still use in the Yu-Gi-Oh days, and to this point I still use from time to time for my own OC stuff, to the point where I've even inserted him in Dreamtalia. Because I wanted him to be goddamn relevant again. Even if it's just myself that only knows.
Oh.
Because I did, in the day before Rev actually had a fucking backstory, these two did interact, and he does have an actual huge role in Rev's story as a character. Without him, Lilo wouldn't have existed.
Oh, yeah! Okay.
So yeah, he's the one behind letting Lilo be possible.
What did he take in return?
Experimentation.
Ooh. That's...
Yep, be my test subject for a while for some of my inventions, and I'll let you go. And I'll let you, be able to have stuff. Also run some errands for me, please.
Because you can dimension hop, so give me that.
Yeah. I remember one of the errands, because we, RP'd it out because, why not? It was a fun adventure. He needed to give a payment to one of his friends in another dimension, but again, Rev could go to it a lot faster than he ever could, so he's like, hey, give this to my friend, and we'll call you square for today. And basically, this dude was a druggie for Advil. Because it did some weird stuff. It's just like, Advil, really? It's like, yeah. It's good. Tastes so good. Doesn't have any taste. Bro, you haven't lived? And Rev's like, okay.
Fucking weirdo.
I remember that RP specifically, because that's when I was stuck in, boot camp. And we had nothing to do for the day. So I was like, hey, you want a fucking RP? And they were like, fuck yeah. So no one else is in the barracks but me, so I just RP'd on my phone for a good while. And that was fun.
Oh, one of those old chunky ones?
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
So yeah, may or may not see him in the fucking Dreamtalia optional shit. 'Cause he's an interesting dude.
Oh, I haven't spoken yet. Hello.
Okay, there's some 2 OCs. There. Are y'all happy yet? You got OCs. Gotta draw your pants. There, got pants. There you go. Cha-cha. Send it. There.
Oh, yes, I forgot to ask what the turnip prices are today.
There we go. I still have most of Sonet's Pokemon lineup memorized. I remember one of his main go-tos was a Natu, because they both kind of, looked similar to each other with their hands always in their sleeves.
Oh, he's an acolyte, I see.
Haunter was also one of those, because he was super dead fucking serious, which, made it more hilarious when he just had his Haunter around to be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And Sonet's like, hey. Haunter's just... Kind of same way he got Sabrina is like, yeah, he's stone-faced all the time, then Haunter's like, boo! And he's like, nice.
Fucking abomination of a child.
I love Luna, okay? His abomination of a child is a treasure.
That picture you drew of her pulling the skin off her face was horrifying.
Yep, that's her. That's Luna. She can do a lot worse.
I don't want her.
She can push her whole
No.
skin through a grate. Like a snake. Oh, hi.
Yeah, nuzzles.
Thank you. Thank you for the nuzzles. I like the nuzzles.
I'm glad you like the nuzzles.
Thank you. I'm gonna save these pictures and then we can go on to that too.
I've seen one too many Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I can easily envision it in my head and hear it, and it's just like,
It's okay. She can take her bones out.
God!
It doesn't hurt.
Ah!
It doesn't hurt.
I don't care if it doesn't hurt. Ugh. Squicks me out.
Sorry.
Ugh.
I'm just reminded of that one, whatchamacallit? My Life as a Teenage Robot. And that one episode of the exoskeleton slithering around. It's like, yeah, she could do that.
Ugh.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby, you nuzzle.
I do nuzzle it too.
Guess what time it is? It's Pokemon time.
Pokemon time.
It's Pokemon time.
It's also time for a meds check.
Yes, medication time, y'all. Well, if you want to play.
Yeah. I should get my dailies done.
Mm-hmm. It's been quite a while since we've been on our adventure. Ain't it? Hold on. Where's the sound? Where is the sound? Because I can see it fine, but I can't hear anything. Neither one.
That happened to me yesterday. Try restarting the program.
Okay. Come on, open thing. Ah. Ignore the picture you just saw of me in my pajamas. That's so. Off. We're having some audio issues. Technical issues, lol. Give me a hot second.